I used to believe that life was full of limits, that the world had boundaries I couldn't cross, rules I couldn't break, and barriers that would always stand in my way. I grew up hearing the word no far more often than I heard yes, surrounded by voices that told me to be realistic, to be practical, to stay within the lines that had been drawn for me by others. I was taught to accept my place, to not reach too high, to not dream too big. But somewhere along the way, I began to question those voices. I began to wonder, what if they were wrong? What if the limits I saw weren't real, but were simply the products of other people's fears, doubts, and insecurities? What if the boundaries that seemed so solid were nothing more than illusions? It was a thought that changed everything. It was the spark that ignited a fire within me, a fire that continues to burn brighter with each passing day. I realized that the only true limits that exist are the ones I place on myself. And in that moment of clarity, I made a decision that would define the rest of my life. I can do anything I want. At first, it was just a whisper, a quiet thought at the back of my mind. It felt almost too bold, too audacious to believe. After all, how could it be true? How could I, just one person in a vast world, possibly do anything I want? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this belief was not about external circumstances, but about internal power. It wasn't about what the world said I could or couldn't do. It was about what I believed I could achieve. It was about the strength of my will, the depth of my determination, and the clarity of my vision. I started to see the world differently. Where once I saw obstacles, I now saw opportunities. Where I once saw walls, I now saw doors waiting to be opened. The world wasn't a place full of limits. It was a canvas, vast and open, waiting for me to paint my story upon it. The only question was, what kind of story did I want to create? The possibilities were endless, and that realization was both exhilarating and terrifying. With the knowledge that I could do anything I wanted came the responsibility to choose wisely, to be deliberate in my actions, and to be true to my deepest desires. It wasn't long before I began to put this newfound belief into practice. I started setting goals that once seemed impossible, reaching for things that had once felt out of my grasp. At first, the steps were small, tiny actions that began to build momentum. But with each small victory, my confidence grew. I began to realize that the limits I had once accepted were melting away, dissolving in the face of my determination. I was breaking free from the chains that had once held me back, chains I had unknowingly forged myself. The more I accomplished, the more I began to trust in the truth of my belief. I can do anything I want. Of course, the road wasn't easy. There were challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. There were times when the old voices of limitation tried to creep back in, whispering that I was aiming too high, that I was destined to fail. But I had come too far to let those voices win. I had tasted the freedom of limitless possibility, and there was no turning back. I learned to see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. Each challenge was a test of my resolve, a chance to prove to myself that I was capable of more than I had ever imagined. With each hurdle I overcame, I became stronger, more resilient, more convinced that the only true limits were the ones I chose to believe in. And as I continued on this journey, I began to notice something else. The impact my belief was having on those around me. People started to see the changes in me, the confidence, the drive, the unwavering belief in my own potential. Some were inspired, others were skeptical, but all were affected in some way. I began to understand that by living my truth, by embracing the belief that I could do anything I wanted, I was giving others permission to do the same. I was showing them that the world's limits were not as solid as they appeared. That they too had the power to break free from the constraints they had accepted for so long. There was something incredibly powerful about knowing that you are the architect of your own destiny. It's a realization that fills you with a sense of purpose, of control, of infinite possibility. It's a belief that transforms the way you approach every aspect of your life. Decisions are no longer made out of fear or doubt, but out of confidence and clarity. Challenges are no longer reasons to give up, but opportunities to prove yourself, to push your boundaries, to grow. When you believe that you can do anything you want, you stop waiting for life to happen to you, and you start making life happen for you. I began to dream bigger, to set my sights on goals that once seemed unattainable. I started projects that I never would have dared to attempt before, reached out to people I once thought were beyond my reach, and pursued passions that had long been buried under layers of doubt and fear. And with each new venture, I discovered more about myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, my desires, and my values. The journey of pursuing what I wanted was as much about self-discovery as it was about achievement. I was learning who I truly was, and in doing so, I was becoming the person I was always meant to be. This belief that I can do anything I want has not only changed my life, but it has also changed the way I see the world. I no longer view challenges as insurmountable, nor do I see failure as the end. I understand now that failure is simply a part of the process, a stepping stone on the path to success. It's not something to be feared, but something to be embraced. Each failure is a lesson, an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become better. And with each lesson learned, I am one step closer to achieving my goals. I've also come to understand the importance of persistence. The belief that you can do anything you want doesn't mean that everything will come easily. In fact, the opposite is often true. The bigger the dream, the harder the journey. But that's where the real power lies, in the willingness to keep going, to keep pushing forward, even when the road is tough, even when the obstacles seem overwhelming. Persistence is the key that unlocks the door to limitless potential. It's the force that drives you to keep going when others would give up, to keep striving for your goals. No matter how difficult the journey becomes. And then there's the matter of courage. To truly embrace the belief that you can do anything you want, you must be willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to face your fears head on. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. It's about trusting yourself, trusting the process, and believing that no matter what happens, you have the strength to handle it. Courage is what allows you to take that first step, to venture into the unknown, to pursue your dreams with everything you have. Without courage, the belief in your own potential remains just that, a belief. But with courage, that belief becomes action, and action leads to achievement. One of the most profound realizations I've had on this journey is that the power to do anything I want doesn't come from some external source. It doesn't come from luck, from circumstances, or from the approval of others. It comes from within. It comes from my own mind, my own heart, my own soul. It's a power that has always been there, waiting to be recognized, to be acknowledged, to be used. And once I understood that, once I truly embraced the idea that I am the creator of my own reality, everything changed. I began to see the world as a place of endless possibility, a place where anything is possible if I'm willing to put in the effort, to take the risks, to stay true to my vision. I no longer felt constrained by the limitations that had once held me back. I felt free to explore, to experiment, to create. I realized that I had the power to shape my life in any way I chose, to pursue any path that called to me, to achieve any goal I set my mind to. This realization was both liberating and empowering. It gave me the confidence to dream bigger, to reach higher, and to pursue my passions with renewed vigor. But perhaps the most important lesson I've learned is that this belief, this knowledge that I can do anything I want, is not just about achieving external success. It's about becoming the best version of myself. It's about living a life that is true to who I am. A life that is aligned with my values, my passions, and my purpose. It's about finding joy and fulfillment in the pursuit of my goals, and knowing that I am capable of creating the life I want, regardless of the challenges that come my way. This belief has also taught me the importance of gratitude. As I've pursued my dreams, I've come to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. I've learned to be grateful for the opportunities I've been given, for the challenges I have faced, and for the lessons I've learned along the way. I've come to understand that every experience, whether positive or negative, has contributed to my growth, to my development, to my understanding of myself and the world around me. And for that, I am deeply grateful. As I continue on this journey, I am more convinced than ever that I can do anything I want. The possibilities are limitless. The potential is infinite. And the only thing standing between me and my dreams is my own willingness to pursue them. I know that the road ahead will not always be easy, that there will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But I also know that I have the strength, the resilience, and the determination to overcome them. I know that I am capable of achieving great things, of making a difference, of living a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. I've come to realize that this belief, that I can do anything I want, is not just about me. It's about the impact I can have on the world around me, the lives I can touch, the change I can create. It's about using my power, my potential, to make a positive difference, to contribute to something greater than myself. It's about living a life of purpose, of passion, of significance. And that, more than anything, is what drives me to keep going, to keep pushing forward, to keep believing in my own potential. So here I am, standing at the edge of possibility, looking out at the vast expanse of opportunity that lies before me. I know that I can do anything I want, and that knowledge fills me with a sense of excitement, of anticipation, of endless possibility. The world is my canvas, and I am the artist, free to create, to explore, to dream. I know that the journey ahead will be filled with challenges, but I also know that I have the power to overcome them, to rise above them, to achieve greatness. And so I move forward, with confidence, with courage, with determination. I move forward knowing that the only limits that exist are the ones I choose to believe in, and that I have the power to break through them, to achieve anything I set my mind to. I move forward with the knowledge that I am capable of doing anything I want, and that the world is full of possibilities waiting to be explored. This is my journey, and I am ready to embrace it, to live it, to make the most of every moment. Because I know, without a doubt, that I can do anything I want